Hello everyone, my name is Krishna. I know many of you think that India has been developing in recent years. Many of you would be right, the IT industry has been booming in places such as Hyderabad and Bangalore. But I want you to throw that out the window. I lived in India for several years, and I noticed that many people have been living in the worst conditions. People were living in tents supported by tarps, so they didn't even have toilets to go to the bathroom. They were going on the streets and stuff like that. Yeah. I understand that the problem has been reducing in recent years, but the problem is still prevalent. We need to move toward a new definition of development, which involves ordinary citizens like all of you here, and governments of all levels. My solution to this problem involves improving economic opportunities and promote a higher standard of living. Better education has to be given in villages. American teenagers like all of us sitting here, all of us, can help. We need to encourage more of us to go back to India to raise the standards of living there. We need to go back and show what can be done and help end corruption and increase the number of voters. I believe that we can give every Indian the minimum requirements of life, including a house, toilet, and clean water. There are also many educated people in this room, doctors, engineers, pharmaceutical company owners, stuff like that. Many of you came to America, left India, not many are left in India. What I suggest is, how many of you want to become engineers, doctors here? Raise your hand. Majority vote, right? How many of you are thinking of staying here after you graduate out of high school, college? Majority vote again. We should take our education and better the lives of families living in India to make the children of India experience the same childhood as we grew up with here. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Well done, Krishna. It's a last minute thing, but you gave the punch. So that's what my expectation is. Krishna, you should, once you grow up and achieve a certain thing, you always think, instead of you having a second car, you think that 8 of my friends in India will have cars. Yeah. Think like that. So, help them. If you have a house, you say, 10 of my friends will be having houses next year with my help. So this is what, if each of you decide like this, definitely I think there is a lot of hope. Definitely there is going to be a change with your generation. Yeah? Thank you very much. You did very well. Any response from the audience to Krishna's wisdom? Response from you, because he asked you or me. Predominantly you wanted the young generation to respond. Yeah. Any response? Okay. Yes. Yes.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm guilty as charged. I want to study here and become a doctor here, and I want to stay here and be rich, right? But I think the primary reason why we all think that we want to stay here is because we're scared to go back to India. We're scared to see somewhere we love, and we're scared to see something that we don't love once we go there.
So we'll try to make a very lovable atmosphere there so that you all can come and they can keep loving and taking interest in the development there also. So Anisha, will come to an end? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I want to mention the cultural intolerance, as Obama mentioned in his comment after his recent visit. And I personally noticed a lot, like nobody is tolerant about others' religion. Everybody wants and religion is something we can follow inside, but it doesn't need to be in the campaign, in the elections, in the economy. Everywhere the impact of religion need not be. So people, if they develop that cultural intolerance and if the governments can support that rather than the other way. Nowadays, the government is supporting the other way, but if government can support with certain policies in developing that culture, that would be fine.
Yeah, again, everything finally comes on to the basic bottom line is the education again. How you train them and how you increase their vision and how you train them. That is what is the requirement. Because in the name of getting the degrees and all this thing, that has become the prime importance. Ends have become very, very important rather than the means. That's what we used to.
But I see that in the educated people.
I said that our endeavor is to see that more and more real education takes place. That's what the thing, what I am planning, or the initiative, what I am thinking, is to see that a child is educated, not he just becomes a literate. So that is what is the endeavor. Let us see how it comes.
And I see one more difference between America and India is this participatory democracy. Like for all the township meetings, some of our friends represent a lot and do a lot of service in the town.
Right.
Whereas in India, it's only the people who got elected once in every 5 years is their job. Running the government is their job.
Yeah, that is what the participation, that's what we say. Like everything we look for the politician to do. Many of the people, they don't realize their own potential. Maybe I keep telling in a street with all of us, why not we get together and do something? That type of initiative is not seen. Again, I think it comes with the education part. What do you think now, Anisha?
So one more question.
Yeah, I just need 2 minutes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. First, I want to congratulate and thank all the kids who have presented for all their insights. Actually, we have come in to listen to the insights of Mr. Lakshminarayana. But there is a common notion in folks in India. You folks living in America, what the hell do you know about the problems in India? Right? Folks watching the Mana TV, right? And then whoever would watch it on the YouTube, they'll realize not only the adults here, but even the kids here know the problems of India and they care about India. Right? I agree with you, sir, about that the crux of the problem seems to be in education, right? And I also commend you for raising the initiative to see if all the people in government service would send their kids to the government schools. The pathetic part is the teachers who are teaching the government schools are sending their kids to corporate schools, right? But I really appreciate if it would turn around, right? And there was one kid who mentioned that not many students are going up to the graduation, right? Yeah, it's a very fair thing. And let's also recognize, right? I mean, that ties in with the number of people living below the poverty line. So one option may be to add some vocational training to the curriculum in government schools so that may probably inspire them, right? For folks who do want to, start earning at a younger age, maybe it motivates them to go to a government school, pick up a skill so that they can start making money sooner, right? Next is, again, I really appreciate you for, trying to distinguish between being illiterate and being educated, right? I think a lot of focus on values is being lost. Again, as you said, we are sitting on a treasure of culture, of values, right? I mean, that's recognized the world over, but we are unable to tap into it because the entire focus is basically marks-oriented education, right? What do you need to get into engineering? MPC, right? So languages are not important, whatever culture and all that, the moral values, the values that are taught as part of that are kind of being sidelined in the curriculum, right? I think that's probably, again, I want to commend Sai Nitya, right? I mean, for her version of spirituality. I truly wonder, Ma, how many kids in India of your age will be able to define spirituality in such a nice way. Really appreciate it. Again, India has been a country, right, based on spirituality, the moral values and all the things that have been part of our, the culture, the scriptures and everything, but somehow the connection is being lost gradually, right? And the last thing I want to touch upon is income inequality, right? Quite a few speakers have raised it. Let's accept income inequality is prevalent in the US also, right? There are a lot of ultra-billionaires, and then there are a lot of people who are making life just by the minimum wage. And some people mentioned about fear in India, right? So what's the difference? Why do I, even if I were making minimum wage, would prefer to be in the US than in India? The basic needs are assured here. Water, power, right? The basic infrastructure and the basic security that nobody dare touch me, right? For some reason, that is still not there in India. And again, as folks have mentioned, there have been plans, right, to interconnect rivers to solve the water problem, right? India is like surrounded by water on all the three sides, and every year, invariably, we have floods in parts of India and drought in lots of parts of India, right? I think, again, India used to be a loaner from IMF. India is now a lender to the IMF. I think we are, and also, right, money and business has been flowing into India. It's high time, I don't know how, but we need to make this a priority to assure the basic needs are met. Because I feel that, as a lot of people said, like, a lot of money is flowing into India. And again, I went to a town in the part of India, right? And again, what I mean to say is, people are able to make things themselves. I went to a small town in India called Nizamabad. There's an apartment complex. Just 1 minute, There's an apartment complex. In the town in Nizamabad, where the water is scarce, they are supplying mineral water for 1 hour. So if government can provide the basic infrastructure, people are willing to take that 10 levels up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
We have concluded well, sir. I think you have covered almost all the topics raised by the kids.
Let's give a round of applause for all the speakers and the lecture speakers. And Mr. Lakshminarayana for his insightful reflections.